Welcome to the Troy Kearns podcast. We discuss real estate investing, entrepreneurship, and business to help you retire and become financially free. Make sure you share this podcast with someone who could benefit from it and leave us a 5-star review. It truly helps me out. This show will mentor you towards financial freedom. If I can do it, so can you.
You're looking thinner every time I see you.
Good, I like that. And the drugs are working.
Yeah, nothing, what do they say, nothing tastes as good as thin feels?
Yeah, totally. You know, my trainer used to tell me, he said that there's no drug as good as self-discovery. He said the first time you're in the gym, and you really start to see your body change, he said, no, nothing feels as good as that. And he was right. I remember exactly where I was. I was at Gold's Gym on Sahara and Decatur. You know, obviously that gym's not there anymore. And I was doing curls in the weight room. And I saw the vein in my right arm, and I was like, holy fuck. And that was the end for me.
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants to look like shit. I mean, everybody wants to do the least amount they can to get in the best amount of shape possible. And that starts with the diet. I mean, like, if you have a good diet, then, you know, everything else comes easy. And
this is what's left. I mean, every day I'm eating. I cook my own steak, and I just bring it with me, and I eat it. And I eat it while I'm driving around to the houses. And
you're the lightest I've seen in years. What do you weigh right now?
I have no idea. I don't even get on the scale, because the scale to me doesn't matter. What matters to me is the mirror and how my clothes fit.
So your waist has got to be down, and your pants have got to be down.
Yeah. I'm in like 36 jeans right now.
What were you up to?
40.
And was 40 begging for mercy, or was it hanging on pretty good?
No, I mean, that's what fit me. And now it's 36 is what fits me.
Yeah, I'm at 36s. I really want to get down to 32s. That's my goal. Yeah. I've fallen off a little bit the last 4 days, just in terms of, because I was doing the 2-a-days, and it's been negative. It's negative 15, and you just, you know what? I've been working out once a day. Diet was pretty good, like probably at 85%. But yeah, I definitely need to get back on the 2-a-days. I like those better.
Yeah.
But when I was getting a workout done by 7:30 and a workout done at noon, and you're done for the day, it's like it's masterful. So I got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of stuff to cover since we talked last time. I want to jump right into, like, we're gonna switch between business, real estate, politics, all that shit.
Sure.
First thing I want to talk about, it's on everybody's mind right now. Alex Peretti, the guy who got shot and killed in Minnesota. You know, it's so crazy how emotional people are, but I think if you're anybody, for you to say, like, yeah, that guy deserved to be shot. No, he didn't. But at the same point in time, and then nobody hears after that. Nobody hears after when I say, but at the same point in time, like, you can't bring a gun to that type of a situation and not expect something bad not to happen. I mean, it's like, I was talking to a friend of mine today on the phone, and he was like, yeah, but it's the First Amendment, it's the Second Amendment. I'm like, yeah, but dude, if I got out of my car and I get pulled over by the police and I've got a gun, I should probably not bring it out on that cop call. And if I'm going to,
when he comes to your door and both of your hands are on the wheel, the first thing you say is, officer, I want you to know that I have a loaded firearm in my car.
Yeah. And I'm not saying, listen, the law enforcement, let's be clear. They fired 9 shots at this guy. Like, that's the fucking shit that just is like, dude, you need to fucking unload a magazine on this guy.
Right, there's nuance here, right? For sure.
Yeah.
Right, the guy didn't deserve to die. Okay.
No.
But, like, his decision making apparatus, like, in his head, like, I mean, he needs to check himself for sure. Like, why did you bring that there? You could have gone to protest. Nobody's saying that you shouldn't have protested. For sure, protest. And nobody's saying that you shouldn't own a gun. Second Amendment, all for it. But when you combine the two, that's when you have a problem. Because
it's the same. You're going to do it.
The right to peacefully protest. So if you're peacefully protesting, Why did you feel the need to bring your loaded 9mm to a peaceful protest?
It doesn't say peaceful when you bring a gun.
Right. A loaded Sig Sauer does not say, I come in peace.
No, who cares about Second Amendment, First Amendment? At the end of the day, a threat is a threat. And when you're going up against law enforcement, and I am not a huge fan of law enforcement in general, but I also am a huge fan of common sense. And I know, like, I got pulled over by a cop at gunpoint in Missouri, at gunpoint for nothing. I was an Alex Pred. I didn't do anything fucking wrong. Arguably less. I was driving on the road, taking my kids to school. But I knew the minute I got out of that car and that gun was pulled on me wrongly, and I felt completely terrible that it was pulled on me, and I felt violated for this guy pulling a gun at me. But I knew if I grabbed my phone, even, that he could think it's a weapon and he's going to shoot me. So, like, this guy didn't deserve to die, but he and those officers combined, who has got to prevail? And if you both got guns, one of these guys is going to die.
I think that that if you're going to use your First Amendment right to peacefully protest, don't bring a gun, because a gun says, I'm not here to peacefully protest. And that's what your First Amendment says. It doesn't say that I have the right to armed protest. It says that I have the right to peacefully protest. And as much of a Second Amendment advocate as I am, which I am, and a giant believer in that, this is where common sense or uncommon sense needs to come into play. This is where your decision-making abilities have to come into play. Like, if I bring a loaded 9mm to an agitated situation, do my chances of dying go up or down?
They definitely go up.
Okay, then why bring it? If you're there to exercise your First Amendment right to peacefully protest, don't bring a loaded 9mm. I mean, I think that.
And the other thing is, like,
the guy didn't die, though. That's for, and he didn't deserve to have nine bullets pumped into him.
No, he absolutely.
And I'm not saying shooting the leg. Obviously, the officer is trained to shoot center mass, and that's where they're going to shoot. You know, all of these people that say.
Let me go on the other side. So I do believe that ICE has an attitude. And that attitude is one that says we're going to use deadly force. And I believe that in general, that is, I mean, let's be clear. It's not ICE or law enforcement in general. Law enforcement is, there's a lot of lives that are death by cop, right? There's too many of them. They tend to escalate situations. They tend to escalate situations. So let me just be clear. Everybody's a fan of the police when you need them, and nobody's a fan of the police when they're against you. And I think that speaks for me and everybody else. You know, like, cops are there they can be power hungry, they can be whatever. But as a citizen of a country of which we still have freedoms, don't be stupid and go to a gunfight where you're against the army and expect to live.
Right. I mean, it's just, ICE is in a precarious position right now, because it's not like they are out there looking for housekeepers and construction workers. Right now, their main focus is hardcore criminals. And that's their focus. If they round up your housekeeper or the guy who's picking vegetables or whatever in the process, of course they're going to take him, because he's, that's low-hanging fruit. But they're there to get killers, people that assault, armed robbers, child molesters. That's who they're there to get. So obviously they're in a heightened state of awareness and readiness. And when you have people protesting, them taking those kinds of criminals off the street, it's a very uneasy situation. Listen, I think that The ICE guys are probably trying to do the right thing. I don't think they want to kill any American citizens. I don't think they wake up in the morning saying, "Hey, let's go kill one of these protesters today." But
I don't think generally any cops want to discharge their firearm and kill someone, because their life changes the same day as well.
Right.
It's not
yeah.
you're not losing your life, but you're definitely, if you kill someone, that's going to be haunting you for a long time as well. You took someone's life, and I don't think in general, I think most normal people, and there's some sociopaths out there and whatnot, but I think that most normal people don't want to hurt other people. They don't want to see other people die. And I think that if you boil it down, I think there's a lot of people who are saying, like, Trump is really provoking this, and I would argue that both sides need to bring down the temperature, right? Like, you've got Tim Walz and Jacob Frey and all these guys going nuts, and then you've got the leadership of ICE, locally there. And, it's like, come on, man. Like, at the end of the day, we're not that far apart, and people need to come together, right?
So just to provide some color here, none of this would even be happening if all of these sanctuary states would just give up the criminals as they're exiting jail. I mean, that's why all of this is happening in these sanctuary states, because these sanctuary states have a policy that says, hey, we have these killers, these child molesters, these armed robbers, and we have the policy that lets them out of jail and go roam free into the neighborhoods again. Well, if they would just turn them over to ICE out of the jail, none of this would even be happening.
Yeah. They just need law reform at the end of the day. It's like, you're going to have, it's so funny. It brings me to my local situation here. My local situation here is, this is always how politics and bureaucracy work. So I have homeless people in my building downtown Kansas City, but when I call the police, they might show up, they might not. If I call the city, they might do something, they might not. But when I take matters into my own hands, I'll probably get in trouble, like for a noise complaint, because I recently put in there an alarm that goes off at 11 p.m., at 12 p.m., or at 12 a.m., at 1 a.m., like just to, and it got rid of the problem, because these guys were going to burn down the building. You know what I mean? But the reality is it's not a perfect situation with anything out there. You have to do the best you can with your judgment. And unfortunately, if you're out there and you're standing with immigrants, illegal immigrants, that is your right to do so. But until laws change, until you elect people that will change the laws, you're really not doing anything other than being an agitator. Like, the bottom line is that the pen is mightier than the sword in general, and you have to go out there and you have to change laws. And it's always a distraction, because what's really going on, and this is what we're going to get into next, is that the large corporations, everybody's taking their eye off the ball to pass a law that's going to affect you. Like, let's talk about it. So when we go, if you're going in Las Vegas, do you have to have insurance on your houses?
Of course.
Why?
I mean, I do it just in case something happens. I don't want to lose all that money, but it's the law.
It is the law that the mortgage company, it's not, I don't know if it's the law, the mortgage company is going to require it. They're going to loan you money. You got to have insurance so that if they lose their money, they're covered.
True that.
And then let's go into cars. So recently, I got into a accident. So I'll go back through Missouri. So since I moved to Missouri, I've had 5 car accidents, believe it or not. I had one where I was hit by an uninsured driver in St. Louis, driving through St. Louis, and they got a ticket, and we got a totaled car. Not totaled, but significant amounts of damage. Another one where a lady rear-ended my truck, significant amount of damage. She had insurance. Another one where a lady ran a red light. I hit her. She had insurance, and I wouldn't have been covered if I didn't have a good witness. another one where I just got hit by two people, one who hit another one, the other one who hit that one, and none of them had insurance. And then one where I just scraped someone's bumper off yesterday. And people always think, well, the insurance company's going to pay. You're in Nevada. They've got personal injury attorneys everywhere. The bottom line is the people pay. Everybody pays. What's your car insurance per month?
I have no idea. We have a giant blanket policy.
So the reason why I wanted to transition there is one of the hot trending topics is in real estate right now is that people are still, even with the drop of interest rates going to almost 5 9/10 or something like that.
Yeah.
5.78. People, and I just had this conversation with a lady today who, because of the cost of insurance, it's up almost 50% across the board in a lot of different cities and states throughout the country. And taxes are up 20%. Property taxes are up. So people still aren't buying.
And she thinks it's because of homeowners insurance?
Well, in Nevada, you don't feel the cost of homeowners insurance. How much is your insurance in Florida on your property there?
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah, we're remodeling that house to put a new roof and hurricane windows in just so we can get the insurance down. I think our mortgage payment is $1,700 and our insurance is $2,900
per month.
Per month, yeah, it's crazy.
Right. So who's working for the insurance company?
Right.
So like when you're looking at that and you've got I talked to a lady today where her insurance went from $3,000 a year to $12,000 a year.
Wow.
If your payment's $1,400 and it goes to $2,400 and you're a normal person, what do you do?
Right. Totally. I mean, I guess, but I think the market is what it is just because the prices haven't come down. I mean, interest rates keep coming down and sales aren't going up. I get it. Homeowners insurance is a small portion of that, but I mean, the bigger portion of it is, people are just looking at prices saying prices are just too damn high, regardless of whatever it is.
So when is there an adjustment?
Well, I think the adjustment is already happening. Just the 3%ers won't accept it. So they're letting their houses sit there. That's the conversation I keep having is the market is, I had it last night. I told you with the couple that I'm helping them sell their house. They're dear friends of mine. And they were asking me what to do. I said, listen, the market has adjusted 20%. You guys just aren't accepting it. And there's a reason you're not accepting it. That 20% represents $200,000. I said, what's your mortgage payment? $3,000 a month? He goes, yeah. I mean, that's a long time that's a long time in carrying costs. Would you rather pay $3,000 a month and wait it out and see what happens? Or would you rather, take it in the shorts and drop $200,000 right now? The answer was obvious, right? It was, I'm going to pay the $3,000 a month and hopefully next year is better.
Yeah. So you're getting ready to do some monster flips. We talked about it the other day. You're saying, this is memorialized. So you're like, I'm in. It's like The Godfather.
Yeah. It's like Al Pacino in The Godfather 3. Every time I try to get out, they pull me back in. Yeah. I never really bought properties from a wholesaler before. And a kid that I met at a networking event just called me out of the blue and said, I have something that I think is right up your alley. And I went to take a look at it, and it was great. And I just,
so
it's 6,500 square feet. It's in Anthem Country Club. It's a big house. And I decided that I don't want to do any houses where I have to make structural modifications. And so long as I can stay out of the structural modification realm, then I'll keep that.
So what are you paying for this property?
2.35.
So this is so crazy that somebody would even flip this, because to me, what's wrong with this house? Like, you've got, I know you don't like spiral staircases, but this house looks like it's in perfect shape.
It's not. So the pictures you don't see there. I'll do some filming in there so everybody can kind of see it. This house had a centralized lighting system, and they ripped it all out on their way out. So even home buyers, they come in there and they see that, and they see 1,000 wires in one place and no brain there. Everybody just gets scared, and those floors are awful. They have to come out. But what they did is there's like 3 layers of floors that have been put in on top of each other, and then the kitchen was put in on top of that. So all of that stuff whatever's in there has to come out to fix all of the problems of that house.
So this has got an interesting history.
The centralized lighting system, just to fix that is $100,000.
So they bought it in 2021 for $166. The guy that bought it before them paid $1.9. You're paying how much?
$235. I'm buying it from the guy who foreclosed them out.
And what do you think it's worth?
When I'm done with it, 3.839.
So you got one for 2.6, and one for 2.1, and one for 1.7. But yours is
3,900 square feet. My house is 6,500 square feet.
So you think it's worth how much a foot?
600, 700.
So what are you basing that? See, that's where shit gets scary for me.
The houses that you're looking at right there, those are both tract houses.
Okay, so this is a custom house.
Yeah, this is a custom home.
And you know this market extremely well. This is like, for me, this is scary shit, dude. You're playing with big dollars here. Like, you're paying with 15, 20 G's a month in just holding costs minimum.
Oh, more than that. Way more than that.
Yeah. Okay. What, 25?
Yeah.
So 25 G's a month, just fucking like a vacuum cleaner in your pocket.
Yeah, totally. But I really think I'm going to be in and out of this house in 90 days. I think I'm going to do the construction in 90 days, and I want you to hold me to it. I have everything all planned out already. Everything's contracted already. Everybody knows the dates that they're going to be in and out.
So what are you going to do to the house?
So I'm demoing everything, all the floors, the kitchen, the whole nine. All new
stairs?
Huh?
Stairs?
No, I'm gonna sand them down and restain them, because there's real red oak hardwood floors upstairs that match the staircase. So I'm gonna sand them all down and stain them a darker color.
Okay.
They're red oak, so I can go lighter.
So you're gonna restand. You're gonna basically put a new kitchen in, put new bathrooms in, repaint everything, put new floors in, and throw that bitch on the market for what, 3.9?
Yep.
And how many houses?
It already has multi sliders. The powder room's already done.
What? How many $4 million buyers are there in Vegas?
A lot.
God, man,
and it's really the price that I want to be at. I need to stay under 5 million for flipping. For new homes, like if I'm gonna build a new house, you can go 10, 15, 20 million, whatever. There's buyers for that. But flipped houses,
and a $20 million house.
Oh man, you'd be surprised. They're sprinkled all over the city now. It's crazy. It's wild. And people are getting it. They're getting it. I'm telling you, God forbid California passes this wealth tax. It's going to be, I'm praying. I want to send those guys money. Like the ballot, the guys that are doing the ballot measure, I literally want to contribute to their campaign. I want to do it.
You know what's funny is you say that, but there's so much money out there that people have no idea about. Like, I remember, you know where 8100 O'Banion is?
Of course.
So it was that massive, huge 6-acre property between Dude, I watched a guy rip that whole property apart, looked perfectly good, just like what you're doing right there, and probably put $10 million into it.
Yeah, the house that you're talking about still is not complete. My friend Steve Escalante from Growth Luxury Homes is the builder for that house.
They've been working on that thing for 5 years.
It's massive.
I've seen it.
It's enormous. It looks like the Greek Parthenon. Like, it's massive.
It's a California guy.
I'm not sure who it was. There was rumors that it was Andre Agassi for a while. I'm not exactly sure.
No, I looked him up. He was a French guy who owns a major software company.
That makes sense.
I walked into the house when I was first starting my social media with a camera and stuff. And then I think it might have been your buddy put on my social, like, you shouldn't be walking into other people's houses.
I'm just going to we'll ask him if he'll take me through it, and then I'll film it for you.
Yeah, you can tell him that your buddy was the one who trespassed and threw it up on YouTube a couple of years ago. Yeah, so you got a lot of buyers for under
for the under $5 million price. I believe that's the case, and even more for the under $4 million. I think once you start to get over $4 million, you start testing it a little bit, but certainly over $5 million, it's for the flipped house, it's rough.
So where do you think, like, in your estimate, if you were looking to buy a house, where do you think the best bang for your buck is in the United States? Like, where do you think you get the best quality of life, the best house, the best lifestyle, the best employment? Where do you think that is? Because I know everybody's got a different opinion about this.
I mean, a lot of people are talking about the Midwest right now. A lot of people are talking about that the Midwest is going to be the beneficiary of the government getting smaller in Washington, D.C. They're saying that a lot of the people that are taking the retirement packages that were given, like the Doge retirement packages and all that, lots of people moving to Minneapolis, St. Louis. You'll probably get some of that in Kansas City. I don't know that you get a big bang for your buck in Florida anymore. The prices have gone so crazy that I'm not sure that you get the biggest bang for your buck. I mean, certainly that's where I would move if I was going to move anywhere, would be South Florida.
I'll give you my opinion. I think you get the biggest bang for your buck, in anywhere Midwest or Southeast. Yeah. And I think if you want to live like a king in Mobile, Alabama, you're going to be living like a freaking king. If you want to live like a king in, Biloxi, Mississippi, one of my favorite spots. I mean, if you had $5 million in Biloxi, Mississippi, you have the most expensive house in the entire South Mississippi. Mm-hmm. And then, and it also goes into, like, if the market changes so much. Like, if you're going into, like, the Airbnb game now, you've got to be a guy or a woman who are going to not only have a nice property, but you got to have something special with your house. But what's crazy to me too to think is, like, we have a house in Florida, which is finally getting some traction and getting rented. But we've got a guy that just called us from Minneapolis who wants to drop $15,000 a month for a long-term rental. And you're like, God dang, the amount of money that people have and are willing to spend.
Listen, I told you I was in Miami a couple of weeks ago, and I'm having lunch with some home builders, some developers, and they're throwing around numbers. Like, I mean, they're talking about $10 million homes like they're track houses, like they're nothing. And if you look at all of the homes for sale and have been sold recently in Miami, especially the waterfront properties, like the numbers are, I mean, they're astronomical.
So what do you think people want? Because you know that you can buy a house in parts of Kansas for $5,000, like a decent, I wouldn't say decent, but you could buy a decent house in parts of Kansas and Missouri for $25,000. No joke.
What do those rent for?
They're small towns, so I don't even know if you have many renters. Like, we're talking like population 2,000, population, you know what I mean? But Mississippi, where I've been buying houses for a long time, I buy houses for regularly under $50,000, and we get rents as high as $1,200, $1,300, $1,400.
Wow.
You could buy houses in Kansas City all day long for under $60,000 or $70,000 and get rents as high as $1,000, $1,200, depending on which area that you decide to buy.
Yeah.
So there's definitely, I mean, and that's it. Let's be clear, that's the same type of deals I was getting in Vegas 15 years ago.
Right. And that's why you moved to Kansas City.
That's why I moved to Kansas City. Now, one thing that's interesting about Kansas City, and I've never seen anything like this in my life, Kansas City spans 3 or 4 counties.
Wow. And 2 states.
So let me break down Kansas City for you. So when we talk about Kansas City, we're talking about Jackson, the heart of Kansas City, which is Missouri, until Mayor Lucas, who
go over into Kansas.
Yeah, but they're 2 separate cities. They're 2 separate cities. Okay, it's like Pahrump and Las Vegas being named the same thing.
Got it.
Okay, Las Vegas and Las Vegas. It's just so and one's in a different state. So it would be almost like if Pahrump was in California and it was Las Vegas. It's one is Kansas City, Missouri, and one is Kansas City, Kansas.
Right.
So Kansas City, in my opinion, is the first and oldest city to really incorporate and become a corporation where they're selling municipal goods and services to their constituents. And that's why they have continued to annex like parts of other counties, because you basically have Jackson County, Missouri, which has most of Kansas City. But as you go up north, you also have Clay County and Platte County, and you may have parts of Cass County. I don't even know. But there's basically, I'm 2 counties north of Jackson, and we have incorporated Kansas City, Missouri, which has all new rules. Just like if you were going to develop in, I guess the easiest way to say it is like a city like Blue Diamonds, you probably have you have Clark County regulations. So if you're going to go to Nye County, you probably have a lot more freedom to do what you want to do. Or if you're going to go to some other smaller county in Nevada and do development type of deals, you're going to have less regulation and stuff like that. So everything is different. Like, for example, one thing that I'm trying to do ideally this year, and I'm really trying to get after it this year, just in general, like all systems go. I'm trying to get everything dialed in, like real estate acquisition, real estate development, social media, digital marketing, all of it. I'm trying to hit it fucking all, like hit the gas. And one thing that I would like to do, and we talked a little bit about this on the phone last night, is, tax increment financing. And the reason I'm kind of taking the long journey there, tax increment finance, we talked about this a little bit last time. When I asked you what SIDS and LIDs are? Do you remember what SIDS and LIDs are?
Yeah, it's the fee that you have to pay to get utilities to an area before the city would normally put them there.
So what you're doing when you pay a SIDS and a LID, you know what you're doing?
You're financing it for the company.
For the developer.
Right.
So what happens is Las Vegas cuts a deal with the developer, let's call it Party Homes or whatever the fuck it is.
Right.
And they say, hey, they say, you know what? We're willing to build all these houses if you're willing to give us a bond that says that 50% or whatever percent of the real estate tax dollars plus sales tax dollars, we will build out all your infrastructure. So basically, they're building the properties for just the cost of the construction. That's how they're making the money. Because you're not able to develop the same way that they are, because they're able to say, all right, we're going to put in all of our infrastructure, we're going to put in all of our water, we're going to put all of our bullshit, we're going to put all of this and this. And in Missouri, it's a 23-year plan. So I can do it for 23 years. So as investors, what do you want to do in your deal? You want to put the least amount of money what? You want to put the least amount of money in your deal as an investor, right?
Everybody else's money first.
Right. So as a developer, if you're able to get a piece of property, entitle it so you get TIF, tax increment financing, Then you parcel it out to a builder who then takes all your risk, and you're the master developer.
Man, I am so happy that you turned into the Millionaire Mentorship Podcast. It's something that I've been working on for over 3 years right now. We're up to 150 podcast episodes. A lot of them are virtual. A lot of them are in studio, which is what we prefer. If you have a guest that you think that should be on our podcast, all you gotta do is comment who it is, and we'll reach out to them. Or if you want to reach out to them and reach out to us, we'd love to have them on a show. We're looking for entertaining, inspirational people that, just like you hear on the podcast every week, that can bring value and help our listening audience achieve their goals. If that's something for you, comment down below and let us know.
So explain to me tax increment financing.
Okay. So
hit grok real fast. Grok. Let's
no, I know. I don't
definition.
need grok. You don't need. You don't. I don't.
Let's have it.
Okay. So yeah, I've been studying this for the past 5 years. So tax increment financing is a SID, a LID, or a CID, SID, or LID. They're all special improvement districts. They're areas that are drawn around in a circle where a TIF, some TIF vehicle is used, whether that's a SID, a LID, or any number of those types of things, where a certain portion of the property tax dollars and the sales tax dollars are gone into a bond guaranteed by the city for the developer to build the property out. That's what a TIF is.
So this says it's a little bit different. It says when a city creates a TIF district, it essentially freezes the property tax revenue at its current level, the base value. As the areas develop, the property values rise, and the resulting increase in tax revenue, the increment, is diverted into a special fund rather than to the general tax pool.
Yeah, so the tax dollars finance a bond. You can ask it the same thing. Say, do cities do a? So here's how it works. If I was to, so it doesn't matter that district. It's always that district. So if you look at the Kansas City, the Chiefs, right? They just moved into Kansas. They're moving into Kansas State, right?
Do
you know about this? The mayor screwed up. Yeah.
As the mayor who lost the Chiefs.
He's not only the mayor who lost the Chiefs, he's the mayor who hasn't done shit. Literally, he has not done anything. He's ridden everybody else's coattails, and he lost the Chiefs. That's his accomplishment.
Ooh.
And all he had to do was do this. So what Kansas did is they did a TIF. They said, okay, Chiefs, we'll give you your stadium. Taxpayers, we're going to get this district here, and all of the sales tax dollars in that district are going to go into a bond, which a bond guarantees payment. So the bond is going to guarantee payment on the state of Kansas's behalf to the Hunt family to build the stadium. And then they freeze the taxes at their current level, whatever they are, or they're getting a portion of sales tax dollars as well. So it could be two things. It can be also you can get a portion of the sales tax. So if you look at like the sales tax in Missouri, you know what the total sales tax is? 4.25. But you know what it is in Kansas City?
What?
8.75 or something like that. So 4% is going to bullshit because Missouri is only picking up whatever. So I'm sure if you looked at the Nevada sales tax, it's probably a lot less than what's going on in Las Vegas.
You're probably right about that. I mean, the sales tax inside of Las Vegas is almost 9%.
So let's look at the sales tax in Nevada and then break it out by Las Vegas and who gets what. So I did, because a lot of people they don't pay attention to this. They just it is what it is. So state sales tax. So the state sales tax is 4.6%. Las Vegas, 4.6 goes to the state of Nevada. Clark County picks up 3.775, and It includes a mandatory county release tax of 2.25, plus in addition, Clark County specific tax, approximately 1.525. The county funds local services like infrastructure, public safety, transportation in Clark County. The city portion, Las Vegas proper, is 0%. Las Vegas does not add additional tax. So in Las Vegas, it's 8.375, 4.6 from the state, 3.75. So how does the revenue distribution work? So Clark County receives 3.75, and then Las Vegas gets nothing. So the total is that. So Nevada Department of Taxation. So yeah, those don't include all of those extra taxes. That's the only thing that Grok is not as good as ChatGPT right now. Is it's slower. Sometimes it spits it right out. Sometimes it swallows it. Pun intended. All right. So Maryland Parkway bus and rapid transit oriented development corridor financing mechanism. Okay. Summerlin master plan community expansions. All of that's been done with a SID. Summerlin Village 22, Summerlin Village 30A, Las Vegas Strip Beautification Project, Symphony Park Mixed-Use Development, a 32-story condominium, Boulder Highway and Charleston Corridor projects. Yeah. So let's ask about it. Like, what about Southern Highlands and what's another big one out there? Mountain's Edge, right? Mountain's Edge. I know there's all tips and SIDs just because that's how everything gets done. Both Southern Highlands and Mountain Edge are established master plan communities in the Southwest. Oh, they had no major TIF or SIF contributions. Overview, okay. All right, so primary financing developed by long-standing development agreement approved by Clark County in 1998, 1999. Infrastructure funding, refied on proper investments by Olympia companies. Commonly, SID and LIDs for roads, utilities, parks, special improvement districts, with no TIP link, searches for Clark County. So it's very common in Missouri, and it's something that I'm learning about because, I mean, shit. Are you actually looking at your receipt when you go to Coffee Bean?
No.
And you might see on that like another 56.
I pay on the app and I don't even look at it. Finished.
How much does your cup of coffee cost you?
$5.65.
And what is it on? Is it maybe like $4.50 on when you order it or something like that, or $4.75?
I have no idea. I've been drinking the same coffee drink for 15 years.
That's why I asked you, because every time I've seen you, it's been the same thing. It's a black iced coffee, right?
Black iced coffee, one Splenda.
Do they know you in there?
Same thing for 15 years. I can't get away from it. Every time I try to go to a different place, the nugget ice pulls me back into Coffee Bean.
That's a good business right there, man. That is a great. I mean, what do you think that cup of coffee cost them?
A nickel. I think about that. I think about all the time.
Why don't you just get an espresso machine?
Why don't I do what?
Get an espresso machine
and make it myself.
Well, it takes longer to drive, doesn't it? Doesn't it take longer to drive?
I don't know. I do it on the way.
It's your little treat. When I see people spending $5 a day on coffee, I'm like, you better enjoy it.
I have one of those Miele coffee makers at my house. I know. Yeah. It's complicated. Those things are.
Do you even know how to work it? You know how to work it?
They're so complicated.
Yeah, you got to use it to know how to work it. Like, you have to actually try it. Like, and you can get it, because when we first bought our espresso machine, I bought it as an investment. I was like, dude, you're spending like $3 a day on these stupid Nespresso deals. Let's do some rapid fire topics I want to get into.
We got a lot of stuff to talk about this week. A lot of interesting stuff happened in real estate. The institutional ban became a reality.
Did it? I didn't even catch up on it. So he signed it into law?
Signed it. Now, it gives some kind of like 60-day deal where he's ordered, let's see. Okay. So he gave a 60-day mandate for federal agencies to block these firms from accessing the guarantee or securitization markets, Fannie and Freddie. So basically, these guys are not going to be able to securitize their assets anymore. And, I don't know how I feel about all of this. Obviously, we live in a capitalist system, good, bad, and indifferent, but I really feel like home ownership is like,
really?
No. I home ownership, like you can't lose that in this country. You cannot lose that. And these guys like, State Street and BlackRock and Blackstone and all these guys, I mean, they're just trying to make everybody renters. And if you take away that, I think we talked about this 2 episodes ago, but if you take away that American dream, like, this is no longer the country that you want to be in. Because if you're just a nation of renters and you don't have that upward mobility that home ownership and the equity of home ownership gives you, like, why would you want to be here anymore? I mean,
let's be honest.
Immigrants come here. That's one of the things that makes this country great. You start with
let's be honest.
Something.
Like, most people, that's all they own when they die. They own one house and then they give it to their kids.
Totally.
And like, and life is short, man. I'm out there today in the streets, and I'm like going to one door to another door, and it's like this person died and all they had was their house, and then they didn't even have any kids, but all they had was this house. And you look at it, man, it's like, you've got to get after it, man. If you are not getting after it, because I was listening to Steve Jobs today, and he said something, not today, but I was listening to the book today, which I've listened to like probably 7 or 8 years ago. And I'm driving around, and he said, man, I don't know how long I'm going to live. And he got after it, right? And he died at like 58 or 59 years old with prostate cancer. And that's not that far away for guys like you and me, dude. What's that?
Liver cancer.
Are you sure?
I'm almost positive.
I'll bet you money.
Oh, yeah? Here we go.
I mean, we're betting on his death, but I'm pretty sure he died of prostate cancer.
Cause of death, pancreatic cancer.
We were both wrong.
We were both
wow.
wrong.
Okay. Nobody won. Yeah. He definitely lost that bet too. I mean, but like, that's the end of the day. It's like, he's think about it. He's 5 years older than you. You know what I mean? And so you got to get after it. You have got to. If you're not doing what you like, do what you like, or like what you do. Either one. Okay, so the law's passed. Institutions are out. I think that's a good thing. I don't think like, I think that, listen, let's go through the companies that are too big. Is Google too big? So a while ago, I would have said yes, right? When they were engaged in all of their censorship and all of that. But I love all of the stuff that they put out. They make everything so easy. So I don't know. But who's their competition?
Like, is the size of a company what makes it too big? Like, I mean.
Okay, so who are your choices? When you want to search something.
I don't know that too big necessarily is what matters. I mean, I would argue places like, Blackstone is too big. And BlackRock.
Okay, well, let's talk about this. So, who's your choice of airlines?
I like JetBlue. And JSX. JSX is my favorite for sure. But but JetBlue would be after that.
And JetBlue's been on the verge of bankruptcy how many times?
Yeah, a bunch. But they have a great product.
Right, and usually great products don't last. When you're dealing with these mammoth companies, Delta, American Airlines, United.
Holidays of the American airline industry has been not great for consumers, that's for sure.
Go try to book a trip right now, bro.
But listen, I mean, Google and all of their interconnectivity was the answer to Microsoft being too big. Right? Because before it was the Microsoft Office suite of products, and you had to use Windows, and you had to do this, and everybody was talking about Microsoft being too big, and Google said, oh yeah, well, here's us, just use our stuff. And now all of a sudden Microsoft's not too big anymore.
So a lot of people feel a certain way about Amazon.
That guy's a genius. I don't know. Listen, I ordered a bunch of stuff yesterday. It was on my doorstep at 8 a.m.
It's hard to beat that.
What that guy's done is unbelievable.
Absolutely. So my sister is one of those people that refuses to buy on Amazon because of what they represent and stuff like that. And I'm like,
what do they represent? Efficiency, awesome execution.
It's kind of hard to argue with it. It's like,
anything that you want 24 hours a day and have it show up in a perfectly protected package in hours. Like, well, that's what they represent to me.
Return it with speed, ease, and convenience if you don't want it.
Right. I mean, that's
throw
what
throw the broken thing in the box and no questions asked.
Yeah. I mean, if they only sold nice stuff.
I mean, yeah, it's crazy. So, all right, so we've gone to big corporations. So you're happy about the American dream. I'm happy about the American dream. And I think all those companies that we talked about are the American dream. Like they were all, Google was started by guys who wanted to live the American dream. Jeff Bezos started with companies, Walmart, American dream, Sam Walton, American Airlines. Company started with American.
Apple, Microsoft, go down the list. Oracle, all of them.
Yeah, all of them.
So, one or two guys in a garage.
What else do you have on the topic list? You got a good topic list there. That was good.
So I have, they're talking about using depreciation schedules for owner-occupied homes. That you as a homeowner, you don't get to access the same depreciation that you would as an investment property on your personal home. So they're talking about that. I like that idea.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, why would that not be a good thing?
Totally.
Pay less taxes?
Right. Pay less taxes. It's fantastic.
Increase home ownership?
Right. Totally. The other one that they chose, which I'm not sure I'm as much of a fan of, because it comes from the pump it up side, is now they're saying that you can access, they want to propose something where you can access funds in your 401k without triggering the tax consequences to buy owner-occupied property.
I think I think people should be able to access their money. And I think that all of those laws protect the stock market. So I could care less about that. One thing I do want to say is that with respect to just government in general, we should all want to pay less taxes. Anybody who says they want to fucking pay more taxes or the rich should pay fair share, it's like, dude, we should all be voting for the least amount of taxes possible. Like, there's no reason. Everybody works too hard for their money. Nobody should want to pay more taxes. Why should we trust the government with our money? We should trust our own people with our money and do our own thing. I don't know. I love
send money to the ballot initiative in California, though. For the billionaire one-time wealth tax, I definitely want to send them money for advertising.
Yeah,
because it's only going to benefit you. It's going to benefit me. It's going to benefit the city of Las Vegas. It'll benefit the state of Florida. It'll benefit every single place on this planet except for California.
You know what the number one answer I get when I say, why do you live in California?
The weather.
Every fucking time. People I'm like, why do you live in California? The weather. Okay, so is the weather the most important thing? We talked about quality of life. What places have better weather than California? Quite a few, I would say.
Than Southern California? I don't know. It's pretty hard to beat Southern California. It's pretty hard to beat Southern California, bro.
Do you want in Mexico?
Okay, for sure. Yeah.
I mean,
Medellin, Colombia is fabulous.
Right. And how much is the cost of living there?
It's the city of eternal spring. I mean, it's like it's springtime all year round in Medellin. It's gorgeous.
And there's no water there, though.
What do you mean?
Like, you're not on the coast.
Cartagena is on the coast.
So you've been all over Colombia, right?
All over.
What's the best city? What's the best city to go to?
I mean, they're all different. They're all different. I mean, Medellin is, in my mind, probably the best. The people are the friendliest, I think. It's not, or when I was there, keep in mind, I haven't been there in 12 years at least, but it was just genuine and friendly and nice. Where you go to Cartagena and you kind of get stuck in that touristy kind of thing. Bogota is like a big city, kind of like New York. There's some pretty rough spots. You want to stay out of there. But Zonate is a big city inside Bogota. It's great.
Where could you take your family?
I don't know. I haven't been there, so probably everywhere.
Not Colombia.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I don't know that it's a family friendly vacation.
Yeah. So, like, going back to California, if weather's the most important thing, what's the price of gas? What's the price of your commute time?
All right,
And
move to Puerto Vallarta. The weather's much
dude,
better in those places.
Puerto Vallarta has gotten expensive.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you cannot buy a place in Puerto Vallarta in a good location for under, I would say, $500,000 bare minimum. Like, if you want a place on the water, on the beach, in a good condo, you're going to spend a minimum of $500,000.
That's crazy.
It's the truth. It's California. It's the Southern California, bro.
Did you read that article? Did you read that article this week that says that for the first time now that there's more mortgages over 6% than there are mortgages in the 3% range?
I did not.
Yeah, that was an article this year. That was an article this week. They said that's what they're using as the kind of the bellwether to say that, the market's finally turned, that people are no longer using that statement, marry the house, date the rate kind of thing.
Yeah.
They're using that as kind of the saying to say now, the market has turned. People are no longer waiting for their 3% mortgage. They're realizing that this is the new normal and it's time to get a move on it. Well, what year did you get into the real estate business? What year was that?
I got my license in 2004, I think, in Washington State, and then I got my license in 2006 in Nevada, and I really didn't get going until about 2008. So
you're like 10 years behind me, and for the first several years that I was in the business, rates in the high sixes were normal.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody.
But the cost of housing was, what was the cost of housing in Las Vegas?
Yeah, way less. It was a third of what it is now.
$150,000 could you buy a house for?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, proving my point that I made earlier. Like, the reason people aren't buying, no matter how low these rates go, is because the houses are too fucking expensive.
Yeah, where can you buy a $150,000 house in Vegas right now?
I don't think you can.
Where can you buy a $400,000 house in Vegas right now?
I mean, on the east side, probably.
Is that a nice area?
No.
So what does $500,000 get you in Las Vegas?
Honestly, it's been so long since I looked at $500,000 houses. I have no idea.
But
I actually, that's not true. So like 600,000, you can get into Green Valley, small house, because we were looking for my other son, Sam.
So 600,000 for a small house in Henderson.
Yeah. Crazy, right?
Like 1,500 square foot, something like that?
It was more. It was like 2,300 square feet.
For $600,000.
Yeah. Bananas.
And that house 10 years ago is too
expensive. It's just houses are too expensive.
Yeah.
Dump that rate as much as you want. People are still looking at it going, 600,000? Jeez.
Well, it's a lot of money, right? It's, you gotta be able to, it's 600,000 for a fucking house. You know what I mean? Like, those houses were selling for I mean, $150 back in 2011, 12, 13, and now they're 600,000.
No, they were less. Oh,
Less.
when you were buying all of your stuff, they were probably less than 150.
Wow. I do remember that a lot of those condos in that area were selling for next to nothing.
Nothing.
And like the ones in the Green Valley area, you know, they were selling for next to nothing.
I mean, there was that mid-rise in Lake Las Vegas where the units were selling for $30,000.
Yeah. I mean, Lake Las Vegas, you could buy anything for $30,000. I mean, you could buy a house for $100,000. Like they were giving away at one point in time. I didn't think Lake Las Vegas was going to make it.
I think a lot of people thought that, but you know, that guy that shorted all the mortgage bonds, he bought every piece of vacant land he could get his hands on out there.
Did he really? Who's that guy?
Oh, John Paulson.
John Paulson. All right, so take us out on the last few things. It's getting late. What else did you want to talk about before we drop off?
So I think the most important stuff we got into, which in my mind is keeping all of these big guys out of buying single family homes and allowing homeowners to, or potential homeowners to access all of that inventory. You know, I wanted to revisit that for a second because people, you know, the argument to this is, well, these funds, you know, nationwide, they only own 3% of the available homes. And that's true. But they own like 25% of the homes in the markets that matter. Right? Because nobody cares if they only own 3% of the homes nationwide, because nobody's buying a house in Kalamazoo, New Jersey. You know, they want to know, you know, where do they own them in Phoenix, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, you know, places that are having these affordability problems. So this ban to me is it's exciting. The only thing, you know, he's not forcing them to sell their houses. He's just saying that, you know, he's starting with, you're not going to have access to the securitization market, which is a good start.
That thought did come back to me.
It's a win for the American public. That's for sure.
I was going to say something else. I think that one other thing that could be a win for the American public is, you know, reigniting the baby boomer generation and giving people, you know, a credit for having more children, right? Like some sort of a credit for having more kids, right? Like the reason we're an immigration nation is we're not a population nation. Like, you know, most people, like how many people I know that are not having children and are not even replacing themselves, right? So in order for us to grow, you need to have children, right? I mean, Elon Musk's doing his part. He's got 12, you know, and there's other people that are doing their part. But I think as a whole, I mean, does your brother have children?
No, and I don't think he's going to.
Right. So a lot of people, you know, they either have enough to replace them. That's me and my wife, or, you know, but there's not like a lot of people having 4, 5, 6, 7. Besides the Mormons and some of the Catholics, and you know, so I think that one thing that would be
Jewish families are the Orthodox Jewish families, some of them.
Dude, I did see something the other day about an Orthodox Jewish family that cracked me up. There's an Orthodox Jewish family somewhere in some state that's 100% like on EBT, like on Wix, all of it. No, dude, I'm telling you, let me find it real quick.
Real fast, I want to dip back into something that we touched on a little while ago, also with the Doge exodus from Washington, D.C., with all of the layoffs.
Yeah.
They say the biggest 3 beneficiaries of that, I think I mentioned St. Louis while we were talking, but the 3 biggest beneficiaries are going to be Cleveland, Ohio, Syracuse, New York, and St. Louis, Missouri. And they're saying in Cleveland that the high-end healthcare, namely the Cleveland Clinic, and Massive Value are the reason that people are moving there. You can trade a DC townhouse for a lake-size mansion and still keep $500,000 in the bank.
It's crazy. Like, right. It's crazy. Like in DC, yeah, $1 million don't get you nothing.
And Syracuse, New York, because they're calling it the Micron effect, that a massive $100 billion chip plant. Whenever I say 100 billion, I feel like doing the Dr. Evil $100 billion. But the $100 billion chip plant is drawing tech-heavy former government contractors, and they're saying that the price surge is a forecasted 7.5% growth due to inventory shortage. And then, of course, like I mentioned before, the St. Louis, Missouri, and they're saying that that has high utility resilience, energy costs rising elsewhere. St. Louis's stable grid and university hubs, namely WashU, are attracting data science feds. And so what they're saying with as far as St. Louis is that the recovery play, rising demand in historic walkable neighborhoods. Now, obviously, we all know the murder rate in some parts of St. Louis, and they're not talking about those. I think they're talking about more the downtown St. Louis. My brother-in-law lives there. He's an attorney in St. Louis, and he loves it there. It's like the chess capital of the world. I mean, he's a chess grandmaster also, so like you can just go into random shops all over the place, and there's chess everywhere.
I love chess. All right, so Orange County, New York, there's a unique village called Korea's Joel, 50 miles north of New York City, has a population of 39,000, median age around 15, and it's a Hasidic Jew enclave with the average people have 7 to 10 children, and the poverty rate is 40.2%, more than double the national average.
They're going through something similar in Israel with what they call the Haredi population, and so what it is. So I'm not sure if I'm going to explain this correctly, but the ultra-Orthodox Jewish population in Israel doesn't really work. They only study the Torah all the time to perpetuate true Judaism or Jewish beliefs throughout, and they pass it down through history, whatever. But they're the only community that doesn't have to get into the national service or IDF when they turn 18, and there's a big it's going to be a real sticking point in their next election cycle, because the rest of Israel wants that community to participate in the whether it's the national defense or some kind of medical assistance or whatever. But a lot of these communities that are no matter what religion is, they're just super ultra Orthodox, a lot of them have tremendous poverty problems.
Yeah, it seems like it. It's but at the end of the day, I mean, if you look at who seems to do the best, it's families with religion. Like if you look at the Amish families, I mean, you could say they're poverty stricken. They own tons of land. They're self-sufficient. They have like almost zero anxiety, depression, any sort of issues at all.
A hard day's work solves all of that.
A hard day's work, and they don't work for the man. They work for themselves.
Yeah.
They're not on a grid. And it's pretty crazy. So I know we've touched on a lot of topics today. I think that the biggest thing that I always want people to take away is that, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what the fuck is going on. It matters what's going on with you and what you want to do. And you're in a land, whether you want to be a Hasidic Jew or whether you want to be a multi-billionaire, where all of that is possible and probable if you just set out to get what you want to get. If you want to work at the Dollar General as a cashier and barely make ends meet, you can do that. If you want to work as a librarian, or if you want to be the next Elon Musk, the next Jeff Bezos, the next Sam Walton, like the choice is yours, but you got to get after it because tomorrow's not guaranteed.
Amen to that. And I'm going to leave you with this. Don't bring any guns to a peaceful protest.
you're likely not to end. It's not likely to end well for you.
All right. Please don't bring any guns to a protest.
Yeah. And you know what? Here's one better, or not one better. Like, is that peaceful protest or that protest really what you believe in? Or are you just trying to get involved? Because at the end of the day, no matter what's going on in politics, the only thing that matters is you and your family at the end of the day. And if you're not taking care of you and your family and you're out there protesting for something that you agree with or disagree with, and you don't come home safe to your family, then was that more important than your family?
Nope.
Yeah. All right, man. We'll check you on the next one.
Hey, thank you so much for tuning into our podcast right now. I am so happy that you are here. You are in the right spot to be getting inspired by other people that have just achieved their goals so that you can achieve your goals. Do me a favor. Leave us a 5-star review. It really helps us grow. And give us comments and feedbacks. We read those. It helps us grow. The most important person in this podcast is the listener, right? And so if you give us your feedback, it will allow us to create a better podcast for you. And make sure you enjoy the show and leave us a 5-star review.